And away we go. Hi, welcome back once again. I'm your host, and hopefully, we're going to have a fun and productive and entertaining, informative, useful chat. Happy to have you here. Welcome back. I am wearing what is quite possibly a groundbreaking invention here on my shirt. Well, here, you see, we got a. Ooh, Mr. Beef. If anybody has watched a show called The Bear, boom, got Mr. Beef went there. My wife and I had a night out in the city. By the way, welcome again. We're going to talk some dividend news, right? Simply Save Dividends, see what's going on there. Thanks to all you guys that are here. Yeah, that's fine, John. Have them doc. Tell me I'm late, but this shirt smells like beef and peppers. How about that? It's a Mr. Beef shirt that smells like Mr. Beef. The only catch is you can't wash it. So, yeah, on our way out of the city, shout out to Christopher over at Mr. Beef on Orleans. We stopped by. They were normally closed today, but he made an exception. I said, hey, Christopher, I got a YouTube channel over here and I want some Italian beef. So what do you say? I want a sandwich, which is funny because we're talking and my brain picks up and says, I didn't know there was a G in sandwich, but there is. And now you know, and knowing is half the freaking battle. So William, John, Vasco, Shannon, all you Johns, I think there's more than one John. Welcome. And tell us, what have you guys been buying? I've bought, interesting, actually, let me back up because I'll tie this into investing and putting, well, my money where my mouth is in more ways than one. My wife and I celebrated last month our 20th wedding anniversary and our 25th anniversary of when we met. So we had to take a few rain checks because of kids' sports and Thanksgiving and things like that. So we had a night out in the city. Hey, yours truly was dancing out till a little too late. I think got to bed about 3 a.m. or something like that. So I'll survive. The memories are made. Sleep will be caught up on. But check this out. So not a dividend stock. I also have a few words about Nike to talk about. But one of the things here, you can see I took a screenshot of my phone. We were heading to Late Bar. I did not get to see the end of the Bears game, that thrilling conclusion. But Uber. We used Uber because Lyft was a little more expensive, a little bit more of a longer wait time. So Uber was cheaper, and I'm researching Uber. So we used what we invested in, and I'm still doing that research into the company. What's up, Alan? Ryan. I was just talking to Ryan about this. So yeah, I know they don't pay a dividend. It's so sue me, but I think it's an interesting company. And that, but also what we did before we got in the Uber. Yeah. John says soon you could have driverless Ubers. That's the way they're going. They are going toward full automation. But Billy, let me tell you about Chicago, how it was, because by our hotel, we went, look at this guy. Look how happy he is with that Maxwell Street Polish from Portillo's. We went to Portillo's, and my wife had the Italian beef. I had the Maxwell Street Polish with plenty of grilled onions and mustard, just the way I like it. And then we did a little sample taste today when we went to Mr. Beef, which is the shirt I'm wearing, which Christopher gave it to me. So if you're ever in Chicago, hit up Mr. Beef on Orleans. Do that. But Polish immigrants, it could be. And then we put our own little spin on it. So there you go. Two companies that don't pay a dividend, but I do invest in because I'm using them and other people continue to use them. So that's this guy at Portillo's right in the heart of Chicago. That's where we went. And back to Nike, Ryan, we were texting, voice texting, messaging, and I mentioned how I'm really, really close to taking the L on Nike. And Brian Bollinger from Simply Safe Dividends, when I started buying the position, was texting with him, and he, told me good luck. He had a lot of bad experience investing in companies that are fashion. One of them was VF Corp, ticker VFC, which owns Timberland. I almost said Timberland, Nike. Sorry, Ryan, I'm reading. VF Corp does not own Nike. They own Dickies, and they own Timberland and a few other brands like that. So one of the things I didn't like, and this is why it helps, if you invest in individual companies, it's important to see what's going on, listen to the earnings call. But here we see where, I'll go that view. No, that's not what I want. Let's try that again. I didn't like it because through the question and answer part, Elliot Hill, if you just joined us, this is from Nike. He said, while it will take time, we see the path back to double-digit EBIT, right? The operating income margins for Nike Incorporated. And yeah, formula includes multi-branded and diverse product portfolios, constantly refreshing, newness, and all that. But honestly, I just didn't get a good feeling when I see, while it will take time, we see the path back. So it doesn't mean we're on the path, or they think it's middle innings, right? So it's a little confusing, right? Because they say they're in the middle innings of the turnaround. It's going to take time. And I don't know, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, so to speak. And oh, no kidding, Jack. I did not know that VF Corp sold their Dickies. Who bought Dickies? $600 million. So Nike, it's just, becoming irrelevant. I don't think so, because they are still the dominant global athletic wear brand by terms of sales. And it's not even close. Number 2 is Adidas, and it's literally like half of Nike's sales, and then a whole bunch of others. So they're not becoming irrelevant. It's just, and I was trying to explain to my wife that I think it could be dead money for a while. And I think it's important as investors that I need to be better about having some sort of investing diary or journal or something to look at patterns and why I do things. But I know a pattern for me that has emerged is being very attracted to fallen angels, meaning names that everybody knows. And when they fall in price and get beaten down, then I want to buy them. And I think they were up there, and it's a name everybody knows. So yeah, that's one of my things I'm trying to work against. Speaking of VFC and Nike, can you check out the industry outperformer Gildan Activewear? I did not know Gildan is publicly traded and pays a dividend, Jack. So we will most certainly do that. They sold Dickies the Blue Star Alliance. Interesting. Okay. So there's that. There was a lot. I didn't like them saying we see the path back. So it just sounds like it's going to be a while. And I think I've learned my lesson, and we'll see that fashion is pretty tough. But and you wonder, because I don't, publicly traded companies. Now I know Berkshire did buy Fruit of the Loom, right? FTL. They own Fruit of the Loom, but they took that private. It's just a boring business that they own. And it's funny as I say that, actually, this is a great book I'm reading. There we go. How Not to Invest by Barry Ritholtz. Fantastic book. Very easy to read, informative, fun. And one of the things that Barry Ritholtz said, as I try and remember because I lost it, he said a lot of things. It was something really good too. It was very good. Oh, wonderful, Russ. You've done plain forgot what you were going to say. So, hey, that's the beauty of being live, right? If this was a recorded video, I would just edit it out, but it'll hit me. Barry Ritholtz had said to build your own conviction. I don't know. It'll come to me. Tune out the noise. What were we talking about? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry for that. I just plain forgot. But yeah, I just don't remember. So, Dividend Jace, what's up? Nice to see you back, man. Do you buy on Federal Reserve Day or do you wait to see how things play out? Are you talking about when the Fed cut rates? Because for me, not really. It's not going to affect the long term of a business. I mean, unless it is, if there's a possibility, if that's what you're talking about, that the Fed could raise rates and a company could go out of business, that's the only time I would really pay attention. But for the big blue chip companies, what was he going to say? Barry Ritholtz. It is that nobody knows the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And he echoed Charlie Munger. I did remember what I was going to say, is that it is almost better, and Howard Marks says the same thing, to try not to lose money instead of trying to make money. And I think that's something that Warren had done a lot of. He wasn't looking for the things that are going to have the real big gains, just something that him and Charlie could reliably predict future revenue 10, 15 years into the future. I think he says 5 to 10, but reliably predict the revenue and know that it was going to be steady and recurring and stable, and it was a good quality business. And then those, like Hetty Green said, right, Ryan, is that when you watch the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. Kind of like that those companies will just naturally keep being around and compounding and doing well, and you're not chasing the high flyers. So that's the thought. It's just a wonderful, wonderful book. And yeah, this is a library book, and I'm more than likely going to buy it. So, but I highly recommend that and the library as well. William said, John, there's now a growing industry of having people check the receipts of the items that you've just purchased as you walk out the door. It's your observation in the Seattle area. That's interesting. I've seen the Amazon stores type, right, where you just put everything in your cart and you walk out and they monitor everything, what's in the cart. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, something similar to that. But yeah, it's funny. I just realized too that I wore we'll do that. How about that? My mic's usually over the other way, but party people. Well, I don't know who's partying to. I was partying last night watching the Bears beat the Packers. And oh, Boaz, nice, man. You got your picker on the avatar. Nice. Sat Strat, Bitcoin Maxi here. Do you think you weren't the one? Somebody was chiding me for not having all of my kids' college money in Bitcoin because they said it was going to go to $1 million a coin. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anything's possible, but I doubt. Oh, now it doesn't look right. It's throwing me off with the microphone here. I'm going to have to get on Christopher with the hot, sweet, and juicy beef and say, you got to make it on the left side, because some people, they do live streams and they put their microphone on the left side. So that's where it's going to go. What do you want me to do? All right. I think it's good. Oh, and to get to that taste test, Mr. Beef was way better than Portillo's, but Portillo's was good. No complaints. It's just, Here you go, Vasco. As a 34-year-old, I only invest in dividends, but start a position in Uber. I think there's room to catch some opportunities in growth without big moves, just to boost my portfolio. You know what? That's an interesting thought. And I would probably say that I would just want growth. And my opinion, right? I'm not a financial advisor. We're just community members hanging out, having a few laughs, sharing some of our wisdom, things we've learned, things we think. Again, nobody knows the future. Everybody's situation is different, but I guess, if you pick quality companies that pay a dividend, you're probably, I don't know. Maybe over time you'll beat the market if you drip the dividends, right? Because they show a lot of that Hartford study showed that a lot of the companies that were dividend growers and initiators way outperformed the market. But as for Uber, yeah, I was telling Ryan how it's an exploratory position for me. I should come up with a better name, but it's almost like going on a date, right? If you see a hot person out in public, at work, I don't know, in the bar, okay, hey, we were at the bar, right? A lot of pretty people around. You're not just going to go up to somebody you've never even met and say, will you marry me? Let's spend the rest of our lives together before. No, you need to. And this is for me. When I put money into the company, like I did with Uber and like I did with Kinsale Capital, ticker KNSL, when I have actual money in, then I read more about it. I study the financials more. I read the annual reports more, deeper. Try to get a much bigger conviction for the company and better feeling if I want to be in it long term. And that is kind of the thought about going on a date with somebody, right? You put in time and commitment, and I think sunk cost fallacy can play into that too, where, hey, sometimes you're with somebody for 3 years, 3 months, 15 years, and then you realize it's not right, but you've spent so much time with them, you think, well, I'm just going to stick it out even though it's not right. And hey, like Seth Klarman said, in investing, it is never wrong to change your mind. It's only wrong to change your mind and do nothing about it. So that's where my thought is at that with Uber. So I probably will hold the shares for long term, but I might not. I shouldn't have thrown probably in there because I'm in the dating phase, right? Like honeymoon. As soon as you buy a stock and it's your first tranche, you're like, yeah, like, all right, we're in. But I think you start, once you spend time with it, listen to management, read everything you can about it, news articles. Seeking Alpha is wonderful for this. Start reading analyst opinions. Have AI. Dude, we did a video. Have AI try to destroy your stock or your investment thesis or your idea. Like I did that video. Create a short report. Just have AI say, hey, I'm looking at Uber stock. Can you, in a very simple, low mental calorie way, create a short report and tell me everything that is potentially bad about the company or could materially affect the company's growth or business, whatever, and then give a grade. Say if you were a short seller, meaning you're somebody that makes money when the stock goes down, give me an A to F grade, right? F meaning it's very hard to short. It's Procter and Gamble, Visa, a company that is very difficult. But if it's A, maybe, I don't know, pick your mortgage REIT company that's always cutting the dividend and going down, Annaly Capital or something like that. Or what was the one we all love? MPW, Medical Properties Trust. Yeah. Anyway, let's get caught up. Those are my thoughts. What are you guys buying? Let us know. I should have started off with that. Or what are you looking at buying this coming week? Michael is looking at L3 Harris, right? LHX and Toast. Hey, that's another company we saw at one of the restaurants or pubs we were at. They had the Toast machine for it was all the integrated with the company to help them make I don't know how to describe it. It makes their business run smoother with sales, right? And I think seating and just all kinds of stuff like that. But I think Public Storage would be all right, Jack. I mean, we can double dip, and I know we've looked at them recently, right? Solid company. I don't think they're going anywhere. They're the biggest public storage REIT. Number 7. Hey, if you did, thanks. Oh, there's 51 of you in here. So 2 things for anybody that just joined. I had just a great invention. The short of it is that my wife and I spent our anniversary in Chicago. On the way out this morning, we stopped at, if you have ever watched The Bear, we went to the original Mr. Beef on Orleans, and it smells. It's a new invention. It smells like Mr. Beef. It's crazy. So it's like a scratch and sniff shirt, but you just can't wash it. So hey, anyway. The cool thing about Ryan Says the Hartford Fund study is that it's ongoing. He was on their site the other day, and it looks like they're updating their numbers every year. I have not looked at it in over a year. I just kind of remember those main points that they found. But hey, it's companies that are paying a growing dividend are usually doing well, right? They, like we talk about, you want to find a company that has growing revenue, because if the revenue is not growing, it's going to make it hard to increase your profitability and increase the dividends, unless you're Altria, right? Or a Sin stock, kind of built that way though. So it doesn't apply to every company, but investing in stock because they pay a dividend is such a loss, my friend. It could be. And yeah, I agree and I don't agree. I mean, maybe it could be a little more tactful. It might not lose. It might not do as well as buying growth or just the market, right? Because as I shared in the newsletter, Ben Carlson wrote how, oh, thank you. I sure do appreciate that. It's very hot tea. Okay. But you paint yourself into a corner. They say, and I've talked to Ryan about this, right? Is when people say, I am only a dividend investor, or I am only a tech investor, or I only invest in Bitcoin, that it can blind you to other opportunities. And you should always be trying to look at the flip side and say, am I wrong? Is there a better way? You know, what is the, but a lot of times we don't do that. So if you only align yourself with one tribe, you know, you can miss out on some good opportunities. And I've done that in the past. NVIDIA comes to mind, Broadcom. I didn't look deeper into them. I didn't try to expand my circle of competence. Visa, Costco, those are companies. TJX, those were companies, they are companies where the dividend yield starting out was really low. And I used to joke and say, well, you need a microscope to see that starting dividend yield. And some of those stocks are up 100%, 150%. So it's kind of like, well, do you want to have a bigger dividend income, or do you want to have more money in terms of just, I guess, net worth, right? I don't know. That's for you to answer. So that's the question that you got to answer. Hey, there he is, Larry Longball 78. December's a strong month for dividends. It is. This week I received, well, let me show you instead of telling you Larry Longballs. Real quick, I will show you what I earned in dividends this week. There we go. That's what we want. That's what we want. So yeah, this is the newsletter, by the way. So I've switched it up a little bit. You know, what I'm reading, I share something, a free Seeking Alpha article that you can read, but I won't stand too many of these. One of the couple people like the Andrew Barry from Barron's shared his top 10 stocks for this year, and his top 10 stocks from last year almost doubled the S&P 500. But yeah, this week, $169.70 from SCHD, $39.99 from SCHY, which is the international version of SCHD, so to speak, $20.46 from McDonald's, and $38.25 from Main Street Capital, for a grand total of $268.40 in dividends this week. And I had to put Schwab only because the caveat to this is I have a 401k, a health savings account, right? Those receive dividends, and it doesn't factor into this. So, or I'm not smart enough to figure out my monthly or quarterly dividends from some of my mutual funds in the 401k. But and then I bought those 5 shares of Uber, which I said, right? I told you guys under 80, I was going to start a position. So there it is, 79.50, and then use some of those SCHY dividends. Well, I guess I only received $40, so one of them to drip into that. So that was that. We won't do news here in a minute. So yeah, I want to get caught up with you guys, and then we'll do the news. The dividend news you can use. Yeah, no problem, Vasco. And it's just, again, don't let anyone tell you you should not only invest in dividends or you only should invest in dividends. It's just information. Do what feels right for you, what allows you to sleep well at night, what's meeting your financial needs. Meet with a financial professional. That might be a good idea instead of, a guy that's a welder and shares information on YouTube. But hey, I know something, at least, because I'm almost a net worth millionaire. But broke student investing in my earnings potential. Warren Buffett would love that. Warren Buffett had a saying where he gave an analogy about making an investment in a college student, if he could have a piece of their future earnings. And it's escapes me the main point of it, but yes, you are doing a very, very good thing that will pay dividends down the line, my friend. I don't know what that is, HIK. I know LON, right? That's is that on the LSE, the London Stock Exchange? I'm going to guess. So I don't know what HIK is. Charles. I was going to say Charlie. I hope that doesn't bother you. Only buys SCHD, SCHG, which is the growth, SPYM every week. The rest is just when I have the funds. Okay. A lot of people like it, John. OBDC, Blue Owl. I feel set with my BDC already. I'm happy with Main Street Capital, and I'm happy with Ares Capital. So those are my BDCs. But yeah, it's been beaten down, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but hey, it's good to see when executives, the C-suite is buying, and as long as it's not part of their contract or something like that. Not saying like options or restricted stock units, but as I learned, some incoming CEOs could have it in their contract where they have to buy a certain amount of shares to get their skin in the game. So, hey, Tux, you're looking into defensive. Yeah, Procter & Gamble's been beaten down. Mondelez as well, the candy company. Dividend Jace looking to add Enterprise Products Partners, EPD, this week. Okay. Word to the wise. Yeah, Ryan said it is. He does think everyone needs to establish what's important to them in an investment. It's a no strike game, so you need to pick your pitches and know where your strike zone is. Exactly. That you don't have to swing the bat. You could just stand at the plate waiting for your pitch. The only time you might have to swing the bat is if you were a fund manager, and that's where they say that's the beautiful part, that we don't have to play the same game that fund managers do. So when you see funds buying and selling things, sometimes it's to appease the people in the funds so they don't start pulling their money out. So they're playing a completely different game, where us, we don't have to buy or sell. We could do whatever we want with our own portfolio. So what's up, Josh? Nope. Dude, you better not be late ever again. It's no problem, man. Yeah, and Ryan thinks buying stocks, quote, because they pay a dividend is a different thing than only choosing to buy dividend-paying stocks. Yeah, I guess so. Because then, let me think about that. Buying stocks because they pay a dividend is different than only choosing to buy dividend-paying stocks, which is what you do. But yeah, I got you. So you're saying because it pays, and that's kind of the Pfizer video where some people, and we don't want people to ever just say, hey, Pfizer has almost a 7% dividend. Buy. Don't do that. you definitely need to understand the company, by the company that's paying the dividend. Make sure you understand them. And then Ryan added also onto that you shouldn't buy a stock just because it has a certain dividend yield. It's a different thing than deciding to only buy. Okay. Yeah. Look at this. Merry Christmas, Grandpa Frost. I think that's in Russia or Ukraine or something like that. That was Santa Claus. Grandpa Frost. Uncle Frost? I don't know. I'm not from the Ukrainer. I don't know. Ukrainer. Jeez, that's weird. I like that tea. There. What does everyone make for Christmas? We have lasagna and ham. We could turn it into the "What do you eat for Christmas" show, but we're gonna do news here. As exciting as it is for everyone wanting to know. I hope you don't have ham lasagna. That might be weird. As Dave Ramsey would say, investing in yourself increases the size of your shovel. The bigger the shovel, the more dirt you can move, or something like that. I've never heard that one, Kevin, but you would want to get a Caterpillar machine to help move more dirt even. Oh, thank God there was a peas after that, because Charles, I thought you said yellow rice with pigeon and barbecue pork. I was like, pigeon, right? And Michael, you might want to check that because Disney is paying a dividend and growing it once again, which I will show you. Let's look at Disney after the news because I don't remember exactly what it is. I think they just raised it. Oh, I'll salute right back at you, Andrew. Okay, so let's do some news. And before we go, and those of you, the 54 that just walked in, look at this. We was out with the wife in Chicago last night, and I went to the one and only Portillo's. Well, there's a lot of Portillo's, and I had a Polish sausage. It was really good. Maxwell Street Polish sausage. Plenty of grilled onions. You got your mustard. My wife had the Italian beef sandwich. Just really good. If you didn't know, there's a G in sandwich. That's the only way you got to say it. If you order it, I think they don't serve you the right sandwich. It's like a secret code. If you're in Chicago, make sure you don't want to say, I would like an Italian. I would like an Italian beef sandwich. No, sandwich. That's how it is. You got SANWIGE in there. And then you get the right one. Okay. And now we'll do some news you can use. Latest. And I was out of it this weekend a bit. So we had a busy one last week. What's today? We already did all these. Hold on. Let me give you more real estate there. Kevin, take notes. Sometimes you don't maximize the screen like that. Here we go. I think this is where we left off. Or this is new to you. WP Carey raised that dividend 1.1%, and we got a lot. So pause the screen, screenshot it, whatever. If you want to read any of this. CubeSmart, speaking of self-storage REITs, could be undervalued. Simply Safe thinks 1.9%, small dividend raise. So a lot of times REITs, they pay right there 6% starting yield. So you're getting a higher dividend yield right off the bat, but the dividend increases are usually a lot slower. It's kind of the nature of the beast. And again, knowing what you own and why you own it. And if you're buying CubeSmart, you're not buying it to keep up with NVIDIA and the growth. You're buying it for dividend income. They refreshed their outlook on Philip Morris. We won't get into what that is on Simply Safe, but they think it is overvalued. More commodity chemical problems going on. I know we talked about LyondellBasell. It's yucky. So they downgraded to 30 unsafe. Westlake Chemical Partners. Waste Management. This is a company that's not struggling, but could be in the reasonably valued range. They were just under 200 for a minute in November, I think. They bought Stericycle. They're getting into the medical waste. right? Trying to expand that revenue stream. They raised their dividend 15%, which is they're almost an aristocrat, I believe, which is 25 years of straight dividend raises. This is what started off the video topic that I did with the potential dividend. Hey, that's the nature of the YouTube game, right? You got to catch attention and eyeballs. So you have to put the mega dividend warning because they're a mega cap company, but downgraded the dividend safety score to 50, borderline safe. Watch my last video if you want to see a little bit more about that. Franklin, ticker BEN, clever, raised the dividend 3.1%. They've raised the dividend every year since 81. Yeah, look at that. 5.5% dividend yield starting. All right. And two more, I think. Mid-America. I think on the last stream, somebody was asking about Mid-America. Yeah, it's an apartment REIT. So in the Sun Belt, but 90, very safe. Looks like a very safe REIT. And 24 years of consecutive dividend growth. Oracle got a big dividend downgrade from 80 safe to 60 borderline safe. And yeah, it's just all this spending, right? Is it going to pay off? Who knows? I don't know. But it's looking like some of these companies that may have been not so capital intensive, all the data centers, all the AI infrastructure build out is very capital intensive right now. And, is it going to pay off? Could. Nobody knows. Market doesn't like uncertainty, and then they refreshed their outlook on Lockheed Martin. So that's that. And then I promised you, Jack, you would look up Gildan, or you wouldn't look it up. I'll look it up. There it is. Gildan Activewear. My shirt may be in Gildan. All right. 1.43% yield on Gildan. You were right. Ooh, it's Canadian, so keep that in mind. You may have taxes withheld if you're in the United States. $9 billion mid-cap company. When did they start? 1946. They were known as Textiles Gildan and then changed to Gildan Activewear in March 95. Interesting. Oh, yeah. Way up there in Montreal, Canada, kind of over there in dividend guy territory. Cut the dividend in 2020 and in 2014. Okay, so I don't know what happened in 2014 there, but they cut it. All right, well, they're raising it. We'll just go a little quick here just to see if there's anything funky. This is on simplysafedividends.com. Again, if you're just popping on in, this is Gildan that Jack in the comments wanted to see. So free cash flow payout ratio was high in 22. When did we say they cut it? Well, that's why they were negative free cash flow per share in 2014, 15. So that's guessing why they cut that dividend. Well, looks safe coming down. That's good. Free cash flow per share is, and this is something that you see the cyclicality. You'd like to see free cash flow a little bit higher. It's okay. But I mean, more of an upward trajectory. In my opinion, sales growth, yeah, 2020 negative. So that's why they cut the dividend then, obviously. Oh, look at down to 152 million shares outstanding. So they buy back a lot of shares. And total sales generally up and to the right. Yeah, margins all look good. It looks like an interesting company. Debt is getting a little bit high and the interest coverage is coming down. So I don't like to see that. If you're new and just popping on, when you hear interest coverage, ICR, and you see the 6.95, which I can't highlight, but make it a little bigger. This means how many dollars of operating income, which is also known as EBIT, to cover every $1 of interest on the debt. Gildan, this company, currently has $6.95 of operating income to cover every $1 of interest on the debt. And it's important. You need a little bit of a cushion because if you have a hit to profitability, and you got to pay the interest on the debt. If you don't, I'm pretty sure you're legally required to pay the interest on the debt. You will most likely go bankrupt. And let's look at Walt Disney here. They think it's undervalued. Dividend yield shot up 70 safe. So have they grown the dividend? It's a mega cap company. All right, let's see. Yeah, so there's the big, that was a weird one that they cut the dividend obviously in COVID times, but it was frozen for a couple years. So they've raised it, and it looks like they've had very quick dividend, like 50%, right? November of 25, they raised the dividend 50%. But I don't know if this chart reflects it. So let's see, what's the $1.50 is the annual payout currently according to this. And yeah, it was at $1.75 when they cut. So looks like it's still below pre-pandemic. So yeah, to answer your question, they are. It's a semi-annual dividend too, every January and July. Interesting. Okay, that I do remember that. So they are growing the dividend and paying it, to answer your question. And looks like they could be undervalued according to the trailing 5-year average price to earnings ratio. This is something Simply Safe came up with. Not a be-all end-all. Doesn't mean they know the future, but buying below the gray shaded area could be a good time to buy. And this is Disney again. Wish it showed it, because some people just jump right in and they don't know what the hell's going on. But anyway, so Disney, yeah, I think they're going to be, obviously, I can't imagine the world without Disney right now. And they can easily afford the dividend, really low free cash flow payout ratio. Yeah. Interesting though. Free cash flow per share looks like might be down a little bit. They're projecting the next 12 months. Slow sales growth. Sales, right? So there we go. Increasing the rate. Hopefully they'll keep those growing a little bit faster and that trend up and to the right. Don't really buy back many shares outstanding. 1.81 billion. I don't know. Margins are kind of low, so I don't know. I mean, maybe this will be good over the long term, but I'd be curious. I will look for you just to see what Alpha Spread says. Their debt's pretty low, so that's good. Interest coverage is not too bad. Let's look at Alpha Spread to see. And this is just a guess. Let me put this up after I log in, because I'm going to sign in with Google. You don't need to see all that information. So you can go to alphaspread.com. You get 3 free plan looks, or 3 free look-sees into companies a week. But if you have 50 email addresses, well, then you can probably look to your heart's desire. So Disney, there we go. So they think that Disney has an intrinsic valuation on the base case, which I think is 5 straight years of revenue growth that's flat-ish. So it's a conservative estimate, 21% undervalued. They think it has an intrinsic value of $140. Worst case, I think, is like 5 years of negative growth, which is 106. And then best case is, I don't even remember. I should look that up more, but to spare you the pain, just an idea. So Alpha Spread, this is just a guess, an educated guess. They obviously don't know the exact down to 2 decimal places, the intrinsic value of any stock. So anyway, it could be a good time to pick up Disney. If you really want to be safe, wait for it to get to $107, $8, right? It's just a range, the intrinsic value. It's kind of like Warren said once, that it's when you do an intrinsic valuation on a company, it's not an exact number. He said it's kind of like knowing someone's fat without having them get on a scale. Hey, his words, not mine. I'm just the messenger. Oh, you guys are still talking. Oh, Portillo's opening in Houston. Michael, yes, they are expanding, and they're pulling it back a little. And as somebody that is, I just got 200 shares of Portillo's because it was at $6 a share when we were buying, but they're trying to. And I've met Dick Portillo, the the private equity group that bought it from Dick Portillo went public with it, and they want to expand it from coast to coast. And the worry is that it's not going to work like it does in Chicago, which seems crazy to me because Chicago is usually a test market, right? You have all 4 seasons, you have so many different people here, and it's a pretty good test market. So yeah, we'll see. But I like it. I like going there. We were there yesterday. I do not have any experience with the Boyle ETF. Does anybody else have experience with that? Vasco loves his waste management position. Again, good company, really good company. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Michael. So shout out to Simply Safe for giving me the fuel for it. But I know a lot of people were asking, so I figured it could be helpful to a few people. Yeah, ditto on the Pfizer video. Jim, what's up, Jim? Hey, by the way, Jim, thanks. I think it was you, Jim, because my Dapper Dividends email box was full, and yours truly had to do some cleaning. Long overdue, but won't pull the plug on it. But watch it close. I agree. And again, we don't know what drugs in their pipeline, or at least I don't, and it's very hard to determine which drugs in a company's pipeline are going to be the next blockbuster. And that's why they sometimes want to buy something that is on the verge of being a blockbuster drug. That's what these pharmaceutical companies, the big guys, like to do. So yeah, we can look up Hess Midstream McVeigh in a minute. But dude, with Pfizer, I don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to cut the dividend? I don't know. But in my opinion, it's kind of like if you're in the Midwest, there's tornado watch, right? We've been through this, and I should have saved it. There's taco watch and taco warning. Taco watch is all the ingredients for a taco are on the table. That's taco watch. Taco warning is the tacos are together, they're cooked, they're ready to be consumed on the table. So taco dividend cut watch, I guess, is what I would put them on, meaning that all the ingredients are there. It's starting to form. Will it turn into a tornado and destroy your portfolio? I don't know. Nobody knows, but more information for you to be aware of that. They have a lot of products for the next couple of years that are going to be on that patent cliff where biosimilars and generics can come in and start making those drugs. And usually for each one of them, it can be over 70% revenue loss or greater. Something to think about. Yeah, boys, you don't like how Disney's lacking in creativity. I guess I agree. I'm not a Disney person, but they do have the Marvel Studios, right? And things like that. BAH, what's up, MC? I don't remember BAH, but I do think I remember you talking about. It's not Booz Hamilton, is it? I don't know. Too much recycling of their intellectual property. That stuff happens. I did send it out today, Jim, and now by you asking that, oh, you know what? That makes sense now. I'm going to have to resend it because I think wait a minute. No, because now you guys got me thinking because I did receive a reply from, he was a guest. I invited him on, and Jonathan Glazer, he responded and said he liked it. So, if you go to dapperdividends.com, here, I'll just show you guys this. Let's do this together. Okay, some of you received it. Good. But here, let me do this. I really should do so. I got to get my wife on doing something with this website here. Let me show you guys what you can do in a pinch if you want. You don't even have to subscribe to it, but I have it linked to, if you go to my website, where it's kind of an aggregator, but up in the top right corner for newsletter, if you click that, it'll, so I wanted to share it on Blossom, and it wasn't there. So I didn't have the public tab turned on. So I think because when I link it to this, it makes them all public. So you can just click it right there and go to it. So just, yeah. But okay, well, I'm glad some of you got it. But GEV, what's up, Jay Ortiz? It's been a minute. We'll look at a few of those. Let's see if I can do it quick. Holy cow. It's going to be real quick, man, because, yeah, Jim. Wait, Jim's Dividend Stockyard. Dude, you changed your avatar name, or I like it. All right. Here we go. You guys did see it. Some of you got it. Okay, good. Let's look up a few of these because I promised, and I like to keep my promises. I did see your question about Caleb. I don't know. A lot of practice, good coaching, competent coaching. I'm sure there's an investing parallel somewhere that I could come up with. We'll just do very quick here. Hess Midstream, they think it's unsafe, the dividend. And yeah, I don't know if you're chasing that 9% dividend yield, but looks like they've been growing it. Pure speculative. Let's see if they can find out why. The DCF payout ratio, I don't know. It looks good. I don't really see anything. DCF per share is growing. There's a couple numbers missing there, which sales are still going up. Obviously, it's not a deal breaker when they're diluting, because if sales keep going up, DCF, distributable cash flow per share. But I don't know. They look okay. I think Kevin knows more about Hess, right, Kevin? Maybe you can ask, I don't think he's going live this week. I'd have to do much. Oh, yeah, Booz Allen. I'd have to do a lot more digging into it. Excuse me, Booz Allen Hamilton. Or it's just Booz Allen now. I think it was Hamilton once upon a time. 62 Safe, research and consulting. Everybody's thinking that they're going to be disrupted by AI, which it could be. And I think, don't they have the government is a huge part of we would need to look that up. Whoever, I don't remember who asked that. Oh, MC. Look up to see how much of their revenue is from the government. That would be important. But it looks like a solid company, but are they going to be helped or disrupted by AI is the question. And I've never looked into this company, so I don't know. So the market clearly is worried. And obviously the market is not always right, but the wisdom of the crowd right now says run for the hills and be very worried about Booz Allen. So, but yeah, the fundamentals, it looks pretty good. Obviously, you need to do a lot more digging. Hey, have AI help you. Ask AI. They're still buying back shares. So I ask AI if, that's interesting. This caught my eye right now. Will it be the start of a trend? I don't know. But total sales, money coming in the door, every single year it went up and up and up. And then last 12 months, it is down, it looks like. So, but I don't know. We'll wait to see what that full data is. So I don't know. Hopefully it's not the start of a trend, but it does look like a very, very solid company, the fundamentals, but it's going to be all about the future, right? Because looking back, this is all about the past, and we are all experts in the way the world used to be, because it's really hard to be an expert in the way the world is going to be. We all have to make guesses about that, and some of our guesses will be wrong. So, and then, GE Vernova, GEV. This one shot up a lot. Oh my God, 52-week range. Yeah, this one's been on fire. Again, I've never looked into them, so it's obviously it's going to be very solid. I'm sure it's all AI, right? AI driven. But again, Oh, Blue Owl, right? Blue Owl in Michigan had they hit the brakes on a data center with, I don't remember with who that was. I do remember reading a blurb about that. Yeah, GE Vernova, very solid. I think Jeremy from Dividend Stockpile has them. But yeah, I'm sure they're all just yeah, $204 of operating income for every $1 in the debt. That's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. You guys would have to do more. Use AI. It can help. Seeking Alpha. Go. Shoot. We didn't do Seeking Alpha to see what they'd say. You know what? Here, I'll do that for you. We'll go to Seeking Alpha just to if you're still watching for GE Vernova and then Hess Midstream. We'll just see what the quant says. Let me just type it in. What were we doing? Let's do all of them real quick. Disney. Hey, look at, there you go. You see that? The quant says it's a strong buy for Disney, but the analysts lately say it's a hold. Pause that if you want to see it. Let's see Hess Midstream. I think some of the analysts liked it. The quant gives it a hold. The Wall Street and analysts give it a hold. We got a strong buy, a strong sell, buy, strong buy. So it's all over the place with that. So don't know if any of that will help. And then GE Vernova. What do we got here? What do we got? Not Gevo. That's a company I'll never buy. For-profit prisons. That's something that I am strongly against. So you can put me down as undecided. GE Vernova is a hold, but the Seeking Alpha analysts give it a buy. And the buy, a hold, couple strong, 3 strong buys. You got a sell in there. So there you go. I don't know if that helps or hurts, but hopefully it's more information. What you do with it is it's all in you. No, we went to the one on, what is that? Clark, right? Clark and I can't think of this cross street. It's across the street from McDonald's, what used to be the Rock and Roll McDonald's. It's the Prohibition Portillo's. You're welcome. Taco Watch and Taco Warning gonna make me hungry. There he is, Kevin. What's up, man? The Sunshine Connection. Carlisle. Kevin, I don't think he was. I think he was buying Carlisle or sold it. William, I did not know. Booz Allen Hamilton is the former employer of Edward Snowden. Hey, some people think he's horrible and some people think he's a hero. So I'll leave that for you to decide too. What? That's interesting. You know what, Jack? I'm going to recommend this book because he specifically addresses that in How Not to Invest by Barry Ritholtz. You know what? Actually, I just read it. Here you go, Jack. He says one of the things you should do, and he talks about tuning out the noise. Now, Barry Ritholtz, here we go. It's a paragraph. He says, anything that teaches you how to improve should be on your short list of media consumption. Content that focuses on your process, on understanding your behavior, and on creating context is worth considering. Skip the stock picking, the opinion mongers, and the forecasters. It's worthless nonsense. Focus on those in the media who are teachers, who can share their experience and hard-won expertise. You are better off being taught how to fish rather than being given a fish. And he wraps up, I keep my media consumption consistent with my desire to better understand the world I live in. This means saving my limited attention span for the good stuff. You should too. So that's one of the things, I guess, that's Barry Ritholtz says, don't listen to people that make forecasts, kind of like 5 cheap stocks to buy now, right? So that wasn't with Oracle. Do you remember who it was? I mean, I wonder if I can Google it quicker than you, because I don't want to put out false information. So I know it was right. Blue Owl Capital. I'm all in caps. Capital. It was in Michigan, I think, right? Blue Owl Capital, Michigan. What did they do? Yeah. No, I think you're wrong, man. Because here you go. Let me share this, and then we'll wrap up. But I might have been right. I think here. So this is what I had seen. Is that, and this was December 17th, and this was what the market didn't like, is that Blue Owl opts not to fund Oracle's $10 billion Michigan data center. So they walked back, I think. So Oracle maintains that the negotiations are still on schedule and Blackstone could pick up the bill. But anyway, the Financial Times reports that Oracle's biggest data center partner, Blue Owl, has declined to back the project. Obviously, I don't know much more of it than that, so take with that what you will. But I just I don't know why I thought you said it was not with Oracle. No, it was not GEV. Yes, you are right. I was wrong. So Blue Owl Capital is OWL. OBDC, though, right, is a subsidiary of Blue Owl Capital. And this, I think, if I can find it quick, let me show you, because this is important. Let me pull up not the Toronto Blue Jays, Blue Owl Capital. All right, let me got that. I will show you this and share the screen. So here you go. We're here on Blue Owl's website, and I think it was under here. Here, see our products. So Blue Owl is, you can see that, OWL, and these are their products, OBDC, which is Blue Owl Capital Corporation. So that is under the wing of Blue Owl, right? So anyway, that's a product of Blue Owl. So it can get confusing. But yeah, hey, you and me both, Bubble. So I got a movie to finish watching with the fam. It's the Knives Out one on Netflix about the priest that was killed. So we got halfway through it. Everybody got tired. The thrilling conclusion is going to be right now. So hey, everybody's jumping off already without Pee-wee. So thanks a lot for coming by. Hit the thumbs up button if you liked it. I'm happy to see you. We'll do it again next week. I'll be here to hang out with you and hopefully have some more information and fun to have with you and share. I really do appreciate you coming on by. So get on with your bad self and have some fun with the rest of your, there you go. Yeah. Any money you can afford to lose, put that in Powerball, right? I might put $5 in it or whatever, just whatever. You never know. All right, I'm going to get out of here. So love you guys. I will talk to you later. See ya.